In 2024, I published a book. I never fully realized how much was involved in pushing out a book until I did it. And my experience of doing that was both really enjoyable, really stressful, and I would never wish it on somebody who has no experience in marketing. So I'm going to share with you my stories of publishing a book and some of the things I learned, some of the mistakes I made, and hopefully this will benefit you, not just if you're thinking about producing your own book, but also if you're producing your own kind of course, because a lot of the principles of getting a book to sell are the same as getting a course to sell. So welcome to the podcast. Sorry, I've been not been around for a little while. We've had some major travel and I dropped the ball, so I'm sorry. Look, 2024, I got approached by a publisher, or 2023, I got approached by a publisher to write a book. 55,000 words. They do all the costs, so I didn't need to do anything other than create the book. And I was so excited about this because of the potential it had to get me into a bigger audience, the potential to build more trust, more social proof for me, the works. So I was really excited about this, but I had no idea what it takes to actually shift a book, because most of my business is about small numbers of people, high conversion, not large number of people, which ultimately means lower conversion. So the end of the story is, obviously it did okay. It wasn't a blowout success. It didn't get to become a bestseller, but it didn't also sit on the shelves empty. And, we sold thousands of copies, but it was a slog. So I guess the first mistake I made was not really understanding how the book market works, especially if you want to sell it on shelves. So I thought actually the momentum would be that you'd put a book into a store and somehow the store's footfall would drive the conversion. If you're in Waterstones, which I was, and Barnes & Noble, which I was, that basically because you're there, you would sell books. Doesn't work that way. Really doesn't work that way. It used to, but it doesn't work that way anymore. Just because it's there doesn't mean people will buy. And after thinking about it, how do I go and buy books? I wander into Waterstones or Barnes & Nobles if in the US, and I browse. And when I'm browsing, looking for books, what am I actually looking at? It's actually the freaking cover, the cover that does the selling for you. The cover of the book, just the color scheme, the way the texts are laid out, all of that stuff does the selling for you. And then the title. So when I thought about this, I didn't really think about this carefully enough that actually the cover of the book was critical to the sales, because it had to get people's attention on the shelves. Now, this is assuming I'm selling to a cold audience. That's the first part. If I'm selling to a cold audience, the cover design itself has to grab their attention. And for most part, it's this bit here, the spine. Now, I didn't think about this at the time, and I would have, with hindsight, done this differently. It's very much like writing a social post. There's a certain element of it's got to get people to stop scrolling. Or in a Waterstones or a bookstore, it's got to stop people browsing and get them to grab hold of the book, and then they read. They look at the title and they go, does the promise of the book align with something I want? That's really important. I have to make my book appeal to people based on what they want. And so what I did is I published this book and put this book together, but I never really thought about how do I get them to give them what they want? And actually, I would have called it something totally different with hindsight if I'd have thought this through. And I didn't think it through. So the title itself, I would have given it another title, if I'm honest. Now I've done it once. Second time round, I would have given it another title, because the title gets them interested. They flip the book and read the back. And on the back is job is to tease them to pick it up and fricking buy it. And I did it in a completely different way. So I learned a couple of lessons there just on how we put the book together. Do I love the content that's in this book? Yes. Do I think the content of this book will help people? Absolutely. But these little things actually make this sell. And it's the same with your content. It's the same with everything you do. If you're trying to sell something, you have to make it able to sell itself. And I didn't do that. Or I didn't do it as well as I could have done. And I kick myself now because that was a brilliant opportunity. And if I had known what I know now, I would have probably done the cover, the title, and the description on the back differently so that on a shelf in a store, it had more potential to sell itself. Weirdly, though, I tell people to do this with their LinkedIn and social profiles, that the profile should sell you for you. It should help people see why they need to buy something from you. But I didn't do it with my own book. So I learned a lot about the cover design and how the cover and the superficial bits actually made it sell or not sell as it could have done. In my case, I think it would have sold a lot more in that first year of launch if I'd have optimized the cover, title, and description way better. Then we come to how you actually sell this stuff. So if you're selling, say, a course or a book, you're trying to get people to buy something at very, very low ticket. And the more low ticket is, the more customers you need. It's a no-brainer. If you want to make $1 million and you sell something for $1, you need 1 million customers. That means that you need probably 10 million people or 100 million people to consider it. So you've got to think about how many people do you actually need to actually sell this thing and whether you've got the ability to actually do that. See, and sometimes people come to me doing this as well. I thought the book would sell itself. It would go on the shelf. And actually, in talking to the publishers, said that's how it used to work. But now people have got so many options. The author and the publisher have to do all the heavy lifting to build the hype, to build the expectation and excitement for the book so that people go into the store, go to Amazon and buy it. I didn't think like that. I thought the bookstores would do all the work, naively. Same with your own course. If you're trying to sell a course that, the dream is that, you earn money while you sleep, and the dream with the book was, you'd earn money while you sleep. The actual effort involved is huge to get a book out, get momentum behind it. And people who do get that momentum behind it, hats off to them. It is a lot of work. And there's this self-fulfilling kind of chicken and the egg scenario that you can have a book that launches you as a person. But if you are well known as a person and you launch a book, it is a little bit easier. But for me, I was branching out into a new market and I didn't realize the sheer volume of effort I needed to do to push this book. And the same goes if you're selling courses. If you're selling a course, it's really difficult to keep that marketing momentum going, especially if you're, one person or a small team. That's why most courses, low ticket courses are sold via ads, is because it's very difficult to maintain that organic marketing momentum. And all the work I do with my clients is about high value, small audience. Because a lot of people haven't built a big audience, haven't got the viral engagement, haven't got 10,000 followers, haven't got an engaged list. And so, I can recall there's a client of ours and they launched a book and they were really excited about using social and LinkedIn to promote the book. And then the idea is the book would kind of unlock sales. They were really excited about it. And I've done this, obviously, and I know what it takes. And it was hard. And I'm not necessarily happy with how I did it because I think the book would have made more sales. But I had a client coming to me with a fraction of the size of audience I had saying, I want to do this book. And I told the client my honest opinion that the book, it's better to actually use the book as a lead magnet and give it away. Use it as a lead magnet to build your brand. You know, it adds more authority to your brand when people realize you've got a book. So I advised them that, and they went, no, I want to sell the book. And I was like, oh my God, this is tough. They don't realize what they're getting themselves into. And it is a hell of a job. And if you're selling a course, you know, posting content, trying to drive up people, using an email list, building an email list to sell a $200 course is tough. That's why I say to people, use ads. Ads are great for that. That's what they're designed to do. Might cost you $20, $30 to sell a $200 course, but you can do that at scale. If you're organic, you need to be doing something more high value, low volume. Organic is very, very good at high value, low volume, whereas ads is very good high volume, low value. So if you're thinking about launching something like a book or like a course, remember you're going to need to, even to sell good numbers, thousands and thousands and thousands of people seeing it on an ongoing basis. And I didn't think about that carefully enough because I'm so used to doing it my way where, you know, I can get 100 leads and convert 20. I wasn't thinking, oh, I need to get tens of thousands of people to see this book every day. And I see a lot of business owners do the same thing. They're like, oh, if we launch a book, it'll build our brand. Yes, if you can get the marketing momentum to do it. And if you could get that kind of marketing momentum to do it, why have you not already done it? So, you know, it's simple, isn't it? Right. If you are using a book to grow your brand, build your influence, brilliant. But you've got to have a way to distribute it. And if you're selling it, that's even harder. If you're giving it away free, that's a lot easier. And one person who did this, you know, this guy I'm going to talk to you about, he actually annoys me and grates me a little bit, but it was impressive how he did it. So Samuel Leeds is a controversial figure here in the UK. He's been in the media quite a bit. He's a controversial figure. There's no denying it. And I have some questions about how he does his business. But he launched two things that I thought was really smart. One, he did what's called a property crash course, which was a free workshop. And he would fill that workshop with people, get them there, and then teach them some stuff and upsell them. Brilliant model. Second thing he did is he had a book that he would give away for free. I believe it was free. You may have had to pay postage. I can't remember. But I got the book or bought the book. I can't remember. But it wasn't even the cost of the book, I don't think. And he would send it to people for free. And I think that's a brilliant way of influencing. But if I was doing that strategy, I would not use a book this big. I would make something a little bit more pocket style, something a little bit like, for those of you listening here, like a 60, 70 page booklet like this. It's quite thin, 60 odd pages, really, really easy to digest. You could read it in 30, 40 minutes. So if you can read it in 30, 40 minutes, I could do the maths on it, but it's roughly something like 20,000 words, maybe something like that. I don't know the exact, but it's something like 3 words a second you can read. So 180 words in a minute. So 180 words, 30 minutes is, I can't do the maths. To call it 200 words a minute, 30 minutes. So it's about 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 words, something like that. I over-egged that a little bit. An 8,000 word book, give it away for free and build influence with it. I think that's a much cleaner way to do it, especially if you don't have a big audience. And then the thing you can do is you can just do it on Amazon. Let Amazon print it for you and just buy 100 and give them away. And, you know, even put like a QR code to download some extra resources in there and capture their details. So that's what I would do in future. I do want to write and publish another book. And I am working on publishing another book, but I'm gearing up for that because I know how much work is involved. I know how much effort has to be put in to actually get that result. And for those of you who are thinking about writing a book, thinking about creating a course where it's low value, high volume, the concept of making money while you sleep is fantastic. I love the idea of it. I want to have that. But the reality is, to make money while you sleep, you need constant demand. And organic, for most people, will not give you enough. It won't give you enough constant demand unless you have huge social media presence. And if you do have huge social media presence, that basically means the book will work for you anyway. So if you don't have a large social presence and you're doing high volume, low value, so low ticket, you need ads. And I'm very clear on that. I know where social selling fits and where it doesn't. And high volume, low value is not social selling. That's a marketing exercise. That's ads. And why am I sharing this? Because I've seen so many people think that they could do low value, high volume organically. And even some of the influencers can't do it. A lot of the influencers I see on LinkedIn who've got LinkedIn courses are running ads on Facebook to sell their courses. If they're doing it with 150, 200,000, 300,000 followers, do you think you can beat the odds that they've got? So book, brilliant experience. There's some lessons I've learned, mainly around title and cover and description and understanding the sheer volume of effort that's needed to promote it. I wish I could go back in time and kind of revisit that, but I can't. But the second book will be better. And then think about, okay, if you're thinking about a course or a book, maybe don't go high volume with it. Use it as a conversion asset, a smaller book, shorter book, give it away for free, get Amazon publishing. So you can upload your book, draft it all, upload your book to Amazon, and they will print it and ship it for you, put it on their stores. But you could basically buy copies and use it as a lead magnet and give it to people. Let's say it costs you, I don't know, £5 a copy or $5 a copy or something like that. And then you post it to people. It's going to be working for you as a lead magnet. Way better. So that's what I recommend. These are the lessons I've learned. A lot of the lessons I learned from a book I already knew. I knew them about landing pages. I knew them about posts. I knew them about lead magnets. But I never joined the dots that actually, if I want this book to sell, I have to optimize how people see it and the journey of them getting to see it to show them why it matters for them. And stupidly, I didn't think about that with my own book. I thought about it with my own content, thought about it with my own lead magnets, my own workshops. I didn't think about it with my own book. I thought it would just sell itself. And sometimes you have to design it to sell it. Well, all the time you have to design it to sell itself. I just missed it. So if you're writing a book, creating a low value course, it's got to sell itself. Lead with what people want, show them what they gain from it, and be ready to really seriously promote it.